Good morning, folks. Live on Twitch, we're Jamesing with Games. For my inaugural game stream, I'm going to prove that I've really got my finger on the pulse of what the youth, the Zoomers on Twitch want to see. We're going to dive in to Ultima 5, Warriors of Destiny. Hello, Chili Champa. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're excited to watch me play a PC RPG from, like 1986, 1987? At any rate, this is not one of those Let's Plays where someone jumps into a game that they are familiar with and then makes a perfect walkthrough video that can later be on YouTube. I have never played this game. Or, it's possible that as a young person, because I did have the Ultima collection on PC, because for many, many years, I've wanted to be the kind of person who plays Ultima. My buddy Elliot had Ultima 6 on his computer when I was a young man, and we would fire that up, go through the awesome character creation, do the opening battle scene, and then be like, what do you do? Because a lot of the RPGs that we were familiar with, especially around that time, it's all good. Stick around as long as you can. Ultimately, if I'm doing this into the void, that's fine, because I actually want to play this game. And I thought, well, maybe it's good content, and whether it is or not, probably I can moderate my own bad tendencies to get hooked on a game and play it for far too long and waste the entire day. If I'm speaking the whole time, I'll eventually get tired and shut it down. So yeah, we could never get anywhere in Ultima 6, but it always stuck with me. I wanted to play it. Ultima Online was a big thing for my peer group when it came out in junior high school, except all my friends had parents who upgraded to DSL internet as soon as it was available. I was still on dial-up. They all had PCs that had the recommended specs for Ultima Online. I barely had the required specs, so I never had much fun with that game. It saved me from ever being hooked on an MMO, because it cured me of any interest in playing them. I got the Ultima collection, and I tried a bunch of them and couldn't get anywhere in any of them. Many, many, many years later, just a month ago, or maybe 2 months, I heard through an article that Ultima Underworld, a spin-off series, there's 2 games in that spin-off, were being delisted from GOG, goodoldgames.com, because of some internal thing. EA didn't want to have them anymore, and so they put them on super sale for like $1. So I was like, whatever, maybe I'd be interested in that. I've got a fancy new PC that can almost certainly run a DOS-based game from 1990. So I went and I downloaded it, and while I was there, I noticed that the first 6 games in the Ultima series, I could get them all for like $2. So I bought them all, and I dove into Ultima 4, which I just completed earlier this week. So I'm now a person who can play Ultima and get through an Ultima game. So I thought, let's go. Let's try Ultima 5, the Warriors of Destiny. Let's do a quick... Yeah, my graphics card is really working overtime, as we'll see, to render this game. So, quick summary. The first 3 Ultimas, just to catch you up. In Ultima 1, there's an evil wizard. I believe his name is Mondain, and you must defeat the evil wizard. In Ultima 2, there's an evil enchantress. I don't remember her name. I haven't played the game. She was Mondain's girlfriend or wife or something. She's mad, so now she's like, how dare you destroy my evil husband? Now I will be evil as well. So you kill her. Ultima 3, Exodus, is about an evil wizard named Exodus, which is a weird name, and you gotta kill him. Then at that point, Richard Garriott started receiving feedback mail for the first time ever, because Ultima 2 was published by Sierra Online, and they messed up his address or something, so he was just never getting feedback from fans or anything. And all of a sudden he was getting all this feedback on Ultima 3, and some of it was, going all the way back to Ultima 1, was, this is an amazing adventure, thank you so much for creating it. But then some parents had written to say, because these Ultima games are open world, and you can do what you want. You can attack who you want. You can kill and rob the townspeople. And in fact, you get experience points for killing the townspeople, and you get gold for robbing them. So parents were pretty offended that you're making this game where you're telling our kids that they're heroes, but they can just go around and murder the townspeople. So in Ultima 4, it was a twist. No longer is the game about defeating an evil wizard. Now the game is about, it's a time of peace in the kingdom of Britannia, and you, the stranger, because the premise in all these games is that it's actually you, and you go through a portal, and you travel in the dimension into the land of Ultima. So the kingdom of Britannia is at peace, and so Lord British, the ruler, thinks that the people need something to look up to and aspire to. So he wants someone to become the avatar by embodying all 8 of the virtues: honesty, compassion, valor, honor, justice, sacrifice, spirituality, and humility. And he just asks you to do that. So you spend the game just trying to be a good person. You can still attack the townspeople, but that is not a good show of compassion or honor or valor. So if you do it, you can never win the game. And there are blind shopkeepers, and you can underpay them for their goods, but then you're never going to get those honesty points that you need to embody the virtues. So that's that game. And I finished that. It was my first ever complete playthrough of an Ultima. Well, I played Ultima Underworld, but that's a side story. Really liked it, and now we're going into Ultima 5. I'll tell you everything I know about this game, which is that the Avatar returns to Britannia and finds that things have gone horribly wrong, and Lord British is no longer in control. That's all I know. So I'm going to fire it up in DOSBox here. Hopefully everything runs all right. Okay, the game is up. It's fitting terribly on my screen right now, but hold on. Let me see what I can do about that. There we go. Just had to break down the window. So I'll just play it in a tiny little window here. Whoa! I had a feeling that the audio was going to be every bit as horrible in Ultima 4 as it was in Ultima 5. Let me know if it's overpowering. I'm going to turn it down a little bit for now. In fact, I'm going to pull the Twitch screen over here so that I'm actually watching a much larger version than the tiny window. Yes, the one bit of good writing Chili Champa raises here is now I got the dialogue somewhat wrong when I told the story before. But there's most of the NPCs in Ultima, when you talk to them through the text parser, they're pretty straightforward. They really like the virtues. They like whichever virtue their town is all about. That's all that most of them have to say. Or, they randomly possess knowledge about an item that you need for some reason. Then there's one shepherdess, and you speak to her, and it says, you see a 5-foot-tall pregnant woman, and you ask her name, and she says, I am Lady Donna. And you ask her job, and she says, I watch over my sheep. And then, because you can repeat their keywords to them and sometimes get more, you say, well, you ask her about sheep. She says, I can't stand sheep! And that's like the one moment in the entire game where an NPC has personality. And it was just delightful. I loved it. Anyway, I know nothing of this, but let's find out what's going to happen in Ultima. We're going to create a new character. You can transfer from Ultima 4, but then you don't get to do the character creation. And Ultima has delightful character creation, at least as of 4 onwards. So let's check it out. We're creating a new character. By what name shalt thou be known? I'm going to just be James. I'm not a big coming up with names guy. Art thou male or female? I am male. Far from your mind, while strolling through nearby woods, is the rumor of a mysterious gypsy wagon a mysterious Roma wagon that some have claimed to have seen. But then you see the colorful wagon sitting in the valley below. Yeah, I could do that. I can't stand sheep. And then just the picture of the shepherdess, the pixel shepherdess. These days I'm a solid color t-shirt guy, but maybe I could do that. Strangely, you find yourself drawn to the wagon. This isn't that strange, really. It shouldn't be for the Avatar, because this is exactly how the Avatar got transported to Britannia in Ultima 4. But what do you do? Upon entering... a woman's voice from inside says, Enter, O seeker. Upon entering, you find an old Roma sitting in a curtained room. In front of her is a table upon which sit 2 incense bowls. The ancient Roma smiles as she says, We've been waiting such a long time, but at last you have come. Sit here, and I shall read a path of your future. She throws some powder into the bowls that causes a thick blue smoke to boil upwards from them. Staring into the smoke, she says, Let us begin the casting. Dost thou believe that virtue... thou dost believe that virtue resides in all people. Thou dost see a rogue steal from thy lord. Dost thou A. call him to justice, or B. personally try to sway him back to the spiritual path of good? Listen, folks, I'm no snitch, so I'm going to go spirituality for this. What we're doing here is basically a playoff of the virtues that is ultimately going to determine who my character is, what their stats are, what their class is, probably where I start in the world. Although a teacher of music, thou art a skillful wrestler. Hell yeah. Thou hast been asked to fight in a local championship. Dost thou A. accept the invitation and valiantly fight to win, or B. humbly decline, knowing thou art sure to win? If I was a great wrestler, I would want to wrestle. On top of that, the one bit of metagaming I'm going to do here is that I know for a fact, A, whenever you choose throughout this chain of questions, if you choose humility, it is a +0 to all your stats, whereas the other virtues add plus something to your stats. And then on top of that, we're doing a playoff here if it's structured like Ultima 4, and if it comes down to it and the finals, if you choose humility in the finals, your class is shepherdess, or shepherd, I suppose. And you might think like, ooh, that's an interesting RPG class. Like, what's their gimmick? Do they have extra ability to talk to animals? Do they? No. Their sole trait is that they're just worse at everything than all the other characters because they're just a shepherd on an adventure. So, valor. Thee and thy friend are valiant but penniless warriors. Thou both go out to slay a mighty dragon. Thy friend thinks he slew it. Thee did. That should probably be a semicolon and not a comma. And Richard Garriott knew about... Well, I've been thinking, Chili Champa, about Lady Donna. And I think the reason that she hates... I think there's even more richness to the character than I brought out. Because all the classes are kind of associated with a particular town, which is associated with a particular virtue. And the virtue of humility is associated with the city of Magintia. Except Magintia in Ultima 4 is a ruin. And when you talk to people, they're like, Magintia is the home of humility because they were horrible and prideful, and so their society fell. And so then when the shepherdess's name is Lady Donna, no wonder she hates sheep. She was a proud lady in Magintia. And then when Magintia fell, she has to go through the world and she has to make her own way tending to the sheep. No wonder she hates sheep. Okay, so, when asked, dost thou A. truthfully claim the gold, or B. allow thy friend the large reward? So I'm assuming that B here is sacrifice of the virtues, but I'm going to be honest here, because I killed the dragon, man. It's not even about the gold, it's about the principle of the thing. Thou art sworn to uphold a lord who participates in the forbidden torture of prisoners. Each night their cries of pain reach thee. Yeah, isn't it, Chili Champa? And that's it as far as like richness to the character. Like some of the characters will I lament forever my horrible sin. I used the skull because the skull of Mondain is an important item in Ultima 4, and you can use it for two things. You can throw it in the abyss to destroy it, or whenever you use it in a battle, it just kills all your enemies. But then it hurts all your virtues because it's actually really bad to use the evil skull of a wizard to just commit mass murder. Each night their cries of pain doth reach thee. Dost thou A. show compassion by reporting the deeds, or B. honor thy oath and ignore the deeds? Yeah, this one's not really that hard for me. I got a big belief in not torture, and I don't really care that much about. I think that you should break your oath if it involves torture. So I'll go with compassion. A local bully pushes for a fight. Dost thou A. valiantly trounce the rogue, or B. decline, knowing in thy spirit that no lasting good will come of it? I'm going to have to trounce this rogue because, quite frankly, I'm actually not convinced in my spirit that no good will come of it, right? Because if I don't trounce this bully when I can, what's he going to do? He's going to go, I didn't get my fight. I'm going to go home and practice the virtues. No, he's going to bully somebody else who can't stand up to him. The Avatar valiantly kicks his ass. Entrusted to deliver an uncounted purse of gold, thou dost meet a poor beggar. Hi, Lars Mandel. It's going well. I'm firing up Ultima 5 for the first time ever. Entrusted to deliver an uncounted purse of gold, thou dost meet a poor beggar. Dost thou A, deliver the gold, knowing the trust in thee was well placed? Or B, show compassion, giving the beggar a coin, knowing it won't be missed? Compassion. If it's not going to be missed, that's because the person doesn't need the gold. Thou dost manage to disarm thy mortal enemy in a duel. He is at thy mercy. Dost thou A, show compassion by permitting him to yield? Or B, slay him as expected of a valiant duelist? Now here I'm in a tight spot, decision-wise, because I believe this is the end of the playoffs. I think this is the finals. Compassion versus Valor. Now, what I would do is show compassion and not kill this guy at my mercy. But if that's my final virtue, am I using the music patch? I've installed it via Good Old Games this morning, and I've done nothing else to it. I might even turn the volume off, depending on how horrible it sounds. But if this music patch can make the audio sound better, and the audio is horrible as I experience it, I'm going to look into this. Thank you for even telling me that exists. Oh, it makes a whole soundtrack. Okay, I'm going to look into that because the sound in Ultima 4 was painful. There's no audio right now, I don't think. Nothing, no sound at all. Because I do have my desktop audio as an audio source. So, look, the thing is, if I go compassion, I'm going to be a bard. And I actually like being bards, although Ultima bards, at least as of Ultima 4, aren't that different from any other classes. It's not like the Bard's Tale where they actually introduced music magic. But if I'm a bard, I don't think I can have Iolo, the bard, on my team, and he's my favorite of the companions, or at least the companion that I always recognize his name. He's the first companion that I got when I played Ultima 4, because when I spoke to him, I was like, oh my god, I recognize that name. I'm just going to say, like, team up. I type in words until I find the word that makes him join me, which turned out to be join. So, I think I'm going to show Valor. And I'm going to say goodbye to Jeffrey the Fighter, I think. And I will be a fighter. Even though, again, I'm not showing the virtue of honesty here, because this is not what I would actually do. But I slay him as expected. Oops, I've clicked out of the window. Click back. Slay him as expected. So be it, says the Roma, as if from a great distance. Thy path is chosen. Thus began thy quest, as chronicled in Ultima 4. Okay, so that's why the Avatar this time was not familiar with the fact that the Roma wagon was going to do this, because it's a flashback. With the defeat of the Triad of Evil marking the end of the 3 Ages of Darkness, I did that whole recap, and here it is in the actual game text. The lands of Britannia enter a new age of enlightenment. A champion was needed to show the peoples of Britannia the long-neglected path to virtue. You were chosen to be this champion. Heroically did you grow strong in the ways of the 8 virtues: honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality, and humility. By many great deeds did you gain understanding of truth, love, and courage, thus becoming the first mortal to set eyes upon the codex of ultimate wisdom. Upon completing your heroic quest, having shown the landsmen of Britannia the way of the Avatar, you return to your world, an Avatar in your own right. Boom. Journey onward. Here we go. So, here I am. I guess that's me. Oh, I've got Shamino and Iolo with me. Shamino's in rough shape, it seems. I don't know why. Yeah, so we've got our audio. It's even the little tick sound it makes when you take a step is less obtrusive than in Ultima 4. I'm going to go out on a limb and hope the controls are the same. So yes, the O key opens doors. The graphics here are much better. In fact, exact same style as Ultima 4, but way better looking. I don't know where I am, where I'm going, why I'm here. But I'm not going to go into the woods yet. I'm going to assume... Okay, I'm in the woods. I live in the woods, I guess. Got a little home. Paths in the woods. We'll stay out of the tree cover for now on the assumption that whatever is going to kick this thing off, is anything going to kick this thing off? I have no idea. Because in Ultima 4, it doesn't tell you, but to get the quest started, you need to make your way to Castle British and speak to Lord British. And where you start in that game depends on your character class. Whereas, I'm not sure the same is true here. It could be. Let's see. Okay, I gotta go in the woods. So, gotta pick a direction. Let's go west. Can't see it. Dost thou wish to leave? I think so. Yes. Exit to Britannia. Okay. So, here in the woods is my home. If I want to return to my little hovel, it's here in some woods. Of course, I don't know where the woods are in the world yet. There's a thing... Oh, blocked. A little sign? Can I read the sign with search? North? James? Thou dost find nothing of note. Okay. There might be like... You know what? I'm going to pop open... I'm going to go to the internet for a moment. Pardon me for a moment, folks. And just go Ultima 5 keyboard commands. I'm going to try to the fullest extent I can to just do this game with no walkthroughs. But I would like to know the keyboard commands. So I'm just taking a quick look at them here. Look. There's a look command now. So that is going to be the secret of how I can read a sign, I think. Look north. Thou dost see... Oh, of course. It's written in the runic language of Britannia. Which I suppose I'm going to need to decipher at some point. In fact, my favorite experience in Ultima Online was taking the game map and the manual and figuring out the runic language while my friends played Ultima Online. So maybe I'll wind up doing that again. I'm going to stick to grass for now on the assumption that maybe that narrows the range of exploration. It's tricky. I don't know where in the world I am. It seems like I could be... I know the map is going to be very, very similar. Like the layout of the world doesn't really change in Britannia after Ultima 4. So given that I'm living here in the woods, it's quite possible that I'm in U, which is up to the north and west of Britannia. Of course, I also know enough about this game. I'm going to cross these mountains. Oh, looks like there's a day-night cycle in this game, which is going to be a thing to deal with. I can camp if I need to, so I will, I think, once it gets dark. It's probably the thing to do. Let's hole up and camp. For how many hours? Well, it's nighttime. Let's camp for 7 hours? I don't know. Wilt thou set a watch? No, we're going to be heroes here and just we'll all go to sleep. That's a new feature. Everybody just sleeps. There, it worked out. Oh, but I wake up in the middle of the freaking night. Well, I do have my graph paper book because when I find dungeons, I'm going to need to map them out. I have no personal objections to looking at the map because, yes, you did get I think it was even a cloth, it might have even been a cloth map of Britannia. And I know the rough layout. The more the problem is when you're the starting point, I don't know if it's a universal starting point. In Ultima 4, it was not. In Ultima 4, so I'm just heading kind of south and east. Is this a road? Here's a sign. That I see a sign. Okay. So very clearly, I can tell that second word is something like British or Britain. So I must be close. I've got to be close to something. And I'm on a road. So I'm going to follow the road. I have no... Okay. Are there any repeated letters? S. Okay, there's an S and an S. That's an R. Yes. Yeah, that's... Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to follow this road south and see if I find something. There's a bridge. Didn't get attacked by trolls. That's good. Haven't seen a single monster yet, which is kind of surprising. I don't know why Shamino's injured. Like, he's healed up a bit because we slept. Can I look at stats with Z? See stats. Stats for James. I'm the Avatar. I'm in good health. Great. Okay. I have magic, so I'm not just a fighter. A whole bunch of stuff. There's Shamino. Shamino's got no magic. That's interesting. Shamino had magic in... Shamino could cast some spells in the last one. And Iolo, the bard, he's in good health. Okay. Well, that is what it is. I carry on south. I got to assume at some point the night ends. But I'm just going to stay on the road. I'm glad to see that Britannia has roads now. See what this sign says. Something British, something... Okay. So, the bottom word, the very last word there is definitely trinsic. So you know what? I should grab some paper here and start decoding. I'm going to write the letters of the alphabet. This is great Twitch content. E, F, G, I'm going fast. H, I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so I know now that the letter T in Britannia's runic script is just an arrow pointing up. That's good to know. The letter B just looks like a B. That's easy. I'm going to write that down. Same with the R. Same with the I. It does look like there's actually an SH. So off to the side, SH is kind of looks like a T. Okay, great stuff. I am not a, nope, no, that doesn't say British. That says Britannia. So that's actually the N. And then that would make this weird sort of droopy F is actually A. Okay, so that's something. East, no, north, no, near, nar. Well, I'm gonna try. Oh, there's a monster. That's probably what it is. But you know what? Let's find out if we can fight whatever this is. Conflict. Shamino's got a short sword. Good stuff, Shamino. Iolo, armed with main gauche, short sword. Don't know what that means. I don't know. Well, so combat in the early Ultima games is a very simple tactical grid. No one has a movement speed. No one can do multiple actions because they're fast. I'm going to move up like that. And then I'm going to pass. Oh, great. These guys have range. So, in fact, my other dudes have to come up. All right. But James, the Avatar, attacks to the north. Wounded the orc heavily. Good stuff. Shamino steps forth. Okay. I should really find out what a main gauche is, because maybe that's a ranged weapon. Grazed that orc. Shamino, you go to the right. Missed. Iolo to the left. Missed. Okay. Heavily wounded that orc. We'll keep this moving pretty quick. Okay, so Iolo is dual wielding. He gets two attacks per round. That's good. Still don't know what a main gauche is. Ah! Whoa, that's gross. When you kill enemies in Ultima 4, they just vanish. They do not turn into blood splatters. Oh, great. Shamino's dead. This is a great start to the quest. It's gonna cost some gold to revive. Ah, and I can't step on treasures anymore. I gotta get the treasure. Open it first. Oh, come on. Okay, Iolo, just stand still. Let him come to you. No, you gotta go to him, because they have range. We're working on this. Okay. Okay. Alright. Iolo's on cleanup while I open... Hey! Found some food, some torches, a ring of keys, a sack of gold, and a helmet. Holy moly. In Ultima 4, treasure chests contain gold and never anything else. Get... Oh, wow. And I'm going to have to get the things like one at a time here. Oh, you know what? Let's show some compassion and let that orc flee. Yeah, Lord British's town. I think what Chili Chompo was saying there, Lars, is that when I'm trying to figure out the language here, it doesn't say north. It says like Nord or Nort. Like the word in Britannia for north is slightly different. Okay. Got a key. Opened a treasure. Got 2 torches. Got arrows. Got some food. Got that. Great. Victory. Okay. Do we actually have to walk off the every battle map? Yep. Okay. Hopefully there's a healer in this town. Although I probably don't even have... Oh, this is the village of Pause. Oh, okay. Now I know where I am. So, it'll be south to Trinsic, the town of either Honor or Valor. I think Honor. Trinsic is the town of Honor, the city of Honor. And north is where I will find Britannia. Now, as I know here, the one thing I know about this game is that things are not good in Britain. The sign of a provisioner. Well, that's nice, but I've got 60 food. I don't know if food is going to... Sign of a stable. Pause is where you can get horses, but I doubt I've got the gold for that. And I'll stay at that inn, but I gotta... Grass. I'm looking for the sign. Sign of the guild, of course. Okay, there's no healer in Pause, so we better... Shamino's just gonna have to continue being dead. Ah, welcome, friend. Thou must have heard of our famed hospitality here at the Smuggler's Inn. I am Lorian, the innkeeper. Is there anything I can do for thee? Well, yes. Art thou here to pick up or leave a companion, or to rest for the night? I would like to rest, please. We have a small but comfortable room available for 8 gold pieces. Wilt thou take it? Yes. Have a pleasant night. We go to bed. Day and night cycles pass. We're up. It's the morning. Okay, well, I should stop at the provisioner because, you know, getting Shamino killed in the very first fight is not a good start to begin with. The rest of us starving to death. Oh, the provisioner is still in bed. Day-night cycles are new in this game. It was 2-4-7 in the previous one. Where is anybody who's not running a shop in this town? Are they all still in bed? I don't know. I'm just going to look around. One thing I learned from my playthrough of Ultima 4 is when I do start finding NPCs, got to take some notes on the things they say. Okay, the innkeeper's up, but this motherfucker is still in bed. You're killing me, man. You got a customer. Ah. You know what? 58 food is probably enough. Do I wish to leave? Yes. Alright, we're heading north. We're going to try to make it to Britannia. Or to Britain. Sorry, Britannia is the entire kingdom. Britain is the capital city. I know, again, that I am not going to find... Oh, jeez. There it is. There's Britain. I was that close. Instead, Shamino is dead. So we come into Britain. We see some NPCs. Let's find out what's going on. Guard offers no response. It's not promising. Blackthorn's law of compassion. Thou shalt help those in need, or thou shalt suffer the same need. Yikes. So yeah, we have a situation here where Lord British is not in power, and whoever is in power has a real not great take on the virtues. Now I've created a spreadsheet where I'm going to record information as I get it from NPCs, because the end game of Ultima 4 was tough for me, because I had talked to all these people who would tell me, hey, you know, you should go to this place to find this item. And I would think like, yeah. Or then you meet an NPC and they're like, this person knows where this is. And I didn't know where anybody was. So I wound up having to like Google the Ultima 4 transcript a lot. Sign of an armory. Well, that's great, but it's not really what I need. These guards are coming after me? No, they have a routine. They're doing their own thing. I'm hearing a crackling sound, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. What's in here? This is just somebody's home. I'm not gonna rob their home. Here's a little grove with one bad tree. I bet that turns out to be something. Hey, there's a person. What are you doing, pal? Can you tell me something? What's going on here? Oh, it's a blacksmith. Oh man, hold still a second. Hello, friends. 'Tis good to see thee all. My interest? Who are you, pal? Gweno. Alright. Gweno is in Britain. What can I learn from Gweno? What's your job? Repair bows and crossbows. So he's not a smith. He's a woodworker. But he just... I guess they didn't want to do historical research about what an archer, like a Fletcher or an archer shop, a bow maker's shop is set up. Cool. All right, that's good. How's your health, pal? Cannot help. In Ultima 4, everyone will tell you about their health, and it's never relevant to anything. Okay, well, that is what it is. Gweno, you know what? I'm gonna. Right now, my spreadsheet has 3 columns: name, job, and info. So Gweno, archery repair, I will say, is his job. And I got no useful info from him. So I respond, bye. I am Iolo's better half. Gweno is a woman, and she is Iolo's better half. Iolo is actually a crossbow designer in addition to being a bard, for whatever reason. Pal, come on. Work with me here. Merchant says, come see me at my shop when it's open. Okay, what's your name? What? Oh. He stops talking to me immediately. We cannot have a conversation. Okay. Who's this dude? Looks furious. See a noble fighting bard. Who art thou? Grayson. Okay. Grayson. Tell me about yourself, Grayson. What's your job? Adventurer. Okay. Yeah, for that's either the fountains splashing or the torches crackling, and either way, I think it was a questionable sound design choice. My interest, sir, is adventure. I have been many places and seen many things. Places. I have even seen the Guardians. Guardians. They are like 2 winged stone giants, yet they possess life. Guardians. 2 winged stone giants possess life. So they sound like gargoyles. Okay. Life. Only those upon a sacred quest ordained by the mystic shrines are granted passage under the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom which lies beyond. Yeah, I know that. So he's been many places, seen many things. But that gets me the same thing. Cool. Good talking to you, buddy. Until tomorrow. Yeah, we can have the same conversation tomorrow, pal. That's the inn, of course. The provisioner. Is there no healer anywhere? I might need to look into... This might just be... Resurrection of your dead allies might be just a whole different thing in this game. Because, once again, armory. Okay. Well, let's finish exploring Britain here. Before we give up and just say goodbye to Shamino forever. I mean, come on, dude. Getting yourself killed in the very first fight. You see a spicy old chef. What's your name? Justin. Justin, the spicy chef. Alright. What do you do? I mean, you're a chef. You cook. You're the cook, of course. Cook. What do you cook? Especially is roast leg of mutton a la Britannia. Alright. Doesn't seem like useful info. Pleasant afternoon to the Tika, the proprietor of the tavern. Can I help thee? No, thank you. Well, mayhap another time. Yes, mayhap. Oh. Little child moved before I was ready. I'm called Ebb. What is thy name? My name is James. A pleasure. Job? You're the busboy. Busboy. I clean the tables. Tables. The ones with dirty dishes. Dishes! The ones on the dirty tables. We're getting nowhere here, buddy. I knew what a busboy was. This is not helping me on whatever my quest is. What's this? Ah, of course, we're in an inn. These are inn rooms. Okay. Notice that we're walking around Britain carrying the corpse of our friend and nobody inquires about it. Oh, there's little villages too. Classy. West Britannia. People are asleep. I should not bother them while they're sleeping. Here, this guy. Ah. Oh, he's going. Oh, jeez. It's coming to nighttime. Well, let's see if we can go in the castle. The castle of Lord British. A bouncing jester. What is thy name? Chuckles. Here to welcome and try to entertain. Makes sense? But what can you welcome me to? What's the story here, pal? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And what? Cheerful, thrifty, and brave, clean and reverent, jester, Chuckles, the bumble, that's me. Great. What's your entertaining skill? Ho-yo-yum, 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 bounce, 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 bounce. Didst thou enjoy that? Yes. I thought thou might. Great. Thanks, Chuckles. Didn't do much for me, but I appreciate the gesture. Let's see what's to the west. Who's this fella? Yeah, the guards are just rude in this game. Of course, makes sense. A melancholy musician. Who are you? Alistair. Alistair the Bard? Okay, why are you so sad? Job? I try to lift people's spirits through my music. Spirit. Once this was a happy place where all could come to shed the worries of the world for a brief time. But now times have changed, and all that remains are memories. How have they changed? Okay, times? When Lord British ruled this land with a firm but just hand. What do you say? 'Tis hard for a monarch to walk the line of power and fairness. That seems true. He doesn't want to tell me... You're called Stephen. Alright, Stephen. What is your job? The lower kitchen chef. Chef. Love to cook, especially for banquets. Kitchen. 'Tis small but well stocked. Good for you, pal. May thou stay as well fed as I am. I hope I do. Well, more than anything, I would like some help with my dead friend. I don't think I'm going to find any here. It's getting dark inside at nighttime. Well, let's find out what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to look into this music patch because certainly the Bard's music is horrible. And it'd be cool if the music was nice. Add a little something to the experience. Locked door. I'm not going to go around jimmying locks just yet, because I'm not sure how that works in this game even, as compared to the previous Ultima. I probably shouldn't even, like... Why are the guards letting me wander around people's bedrooms in the castle in the middle of the night? Pass, pass, pass. Come on, buddy, let me out of the room. There he goes. Okay. Well, this would be more fruitful in the daytime, I suspect. Huh. Yeah, like, descend what? Oh, do you just... Aha! That's a nice step. The keyboard commands in Ultima 4 have a separate button for climbing up and descending ladders. It seems super unnecessary. Now you just press the K to climb button. Here's Chuckles, dancing the night away. Okay, well, yeah. Yes, I doth wish to leave. I doth wish to go to Britain. An air of falsehood doth surround thee. That's not promising. This guy doesn't look friendly. Attacked by the Shadowlord. We can't flee? He disappears. Okay. Can I just press exit? No. And then he appears. There's no way that I can beat a shadow. I do not think this Shadowlord would attack me. James is poisoned. Yikes. Well. And he disappears. James hit. I'm being hit by an invisible guy. Well, we're gonna get party wiped here, inevitably, because I'm... Okay, I've learned an important lesson. The Shadowlords can appear in towns. Oh, hey, this game has added the classic RPG condition of confusion. The Avatar is dead. I think in... Ah, I grazed him. I'm gonna play it out hard. But we're almost certainly just going to be killed here. Shadowlord disappears. Not killed. In fact, he's clearly standing there because I'm blocked when I try to go north. And he hits me. Ah, I can still hit him when he's invisible. Alright. You're doing your best, Iolo, but I'm pretty sure an unending darkness engulfs thee. Thou hast found refuge. No evil lives here, only peace and darkness. But thy slumber is disturbed. Someone shouts, Fortis Fortuna Aventari. There's a peal of thunder. Thou showest well the wisdom of an avatar, but not yet hast thou achieved the potential. Stay on the path, and thy soul shall flourish. Strange words are intoned. We're all back to life. We're somewhere. Vertigo. Okay, everyone's back to life, and they didn't take any of my gold. So that's, I guess, that's the most important thing. I don't know where I am. Am I in Castle Britain? Castle British? I seem to be... I got taken to the castle. I don't know why. So if I go up, can I get to the throne room here? I don't think the Lord British is going to be on his throne, though, if I do get to his throne room. You see a big, nasty, ugly guard. Hey, you. Dost thou not know this is a restricted area? No, I didn't know that, sir. Shut up. Art thou going to leave on thy own, or must I throw thee off the battlements? Leave. Get off the roof now. Okay, so this is not where the throne room would be anyways. This is actually the roof of the castle. That door is locked. We'll go down. That door is locked. Climb down. It's dark in here. Can I get out of the castle anywhere? Climb up. Nice little cross-shaped windows. This door is locked. Climb up. There. A door that opens into a banquet hall. Let us see a grandfather clock showing 9:06 a.m. Okay. You can actually find out what time it is. That's cool. This door is locked. Okay. In Ultima the first, or Ultima 4, the first one I played, got a bunch of spells. They have names now. That's not helpful. I got a ton of spells I can cast. Oh, you get resurrected in the throne room. Thank you, Lars. That is helpful information. Because, yeah, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Lord British is not in his castle. Because, obviously, there is something bad going on with these Shadowlords. I believe, judging by the box art, there are 3 of them. And given that when I came into the town, it said, "Thou dost feel an air of falsehood," perhaps they are named in opposition to the principles. The 3 principles are truth, love, and courage. So falsehood, hatred, and cowardice? I don't know. Okay. I'm just looking to see, do I have keys? I do. Do keys work the same way in this game? Jimmy the lock. Oh, and James will do it. James unlocked. Okay. Just trying to find my way out of the castle. Climb down. There. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm guessing also that Hawkwind the Seer isn't going to be around in the castle right now. Okay. Yes, I doth wish to leave. Okay. I should buy some food in Britain while avoiding the Shadow Lord of Falsehood. No, you know what? I got a bad feeling that air of falsehood, like maybe the innkeeper or the provisioners will overcharge me. I will just make my way to pause, and hopefully that lazy provisioner will have gotten out of bed. Sticking to the road. The random encounter rate, not fully random, of course, because you see them on the map before they attack you, but randomly generated encounters seem a lot less frequent in this game, which is great. Because in Ultima 4, the random encounters get tedious really fast. In the dungeons, there were some preset rooms that are like specifically laid out battles with unique maps and, you know, specific enemies with a plan. Those are fun. Okay, this guy doesn't want to step up to his own table. Welcome to the Cat's Lair. My name is Dr. Cat, thy host this afternoon. Mayhap I canst serve thee? Yes. What'll it be? A leg of our tender roast mutton, a tankard of ale, or rations for thy travels? Rations, please. The fine food here costs 29 per 25 serving package. How many would you like? I'm just going to take 1 for now, pal, because I haven't yet learned the consumption rates, and I don't know how much food I need. Anything else? Not now. Thanks, Dr. Cat. I know that in Ultima 4, and it took me a long time, I eventually had to look this up, because people kept telling me, ask the barkeep in this place about this thing. Yes. And I would go to the barkeeps, but all the barkeeps would say is, do you want food or ale? And when you ordered food, you got rations. But when you ordered ale, it just said, all right, there you go. it asked you what you would pay, and I was like, why did it ask me what I would pay? Like, didn't say this guy was blind, because usually it only asks you what you pay when they're blind. This must be Trinsic. You've made it to Trinsic. What does the sign say? Blackthorn's law of honor. If thou dost lose thine own honor, thou shalt take thine own life. Yeah, this Blackthorn. So maybe, is Blackthorn one of the Shadowlords, or is he like the dude the Shadowlords serve? Either way, he sounds like a... The guard demands a 30 gold piece tribute to Blackthorn. Dost thou pay? Yikes. I'm going to pay like a coward because I don't want to get murdered again just yet. Yes. Okay. Frig. So, is this? A healer. Trinsic as a healer. That's good to know for the next time Shamino gets himself offed. Okay, so Blackthorn, the Shadowlords are in cahoots with Blackthorn, but they are not, in fact, running the show. So Blackthorn's the guy we don't like, and he seems to be maintaining the virtue focus of Britannia. What are we all equipped with? Leather helmet, ring mail, short sword, small shield. This is one thing I'm going to try to avoid walkthroughs as much as I can in this game, but I am at some point, and not right now, on the air, just going to read about the different character classes and what they can equip, so that I'm not, I'm assuming that we haven't stepped up to the point. Talk. I, Heter, do welcome thee to... Yeah, that too, Lars, of course. Learn as you go. Thank you. I, Hetar, do welcome thee to the Horse and Rider this fine afternoon. Hast thou come in search of strong, healthy horses? I'm going to say no because we'll just walk out of here then, says Hetar. Yeah. Fair enough, Hetar. I'm sorry. I only have 100 gold, and I'm assuming that a horse is going to cost a lot more than that because it was like 1,000 in, or more in Ultima 4. Okay, this is just some people's homes. Who's this dude? I am called Wolf. What is thy name? I'm James. A pleasure. All right. So going over to my spreadsheet here. I'm going to add a sheet. So got my Britain sheet. Going over to my Trinsic sheet. I have met Wolf. Okay. Tell me about yourself, Wolf. What's your job? I'm the blacksmith here at the Paladin's Protectorate. Blacksmith. I forge fine weapons and stout armor. Good stuff. Paladin. I forge fine weapons and stout armor. Great. Good talking to you, buddy. He's a smith. I'm going to note that. Good stuff. All right. Come on. Work with me, buddy. You're killing me, Wolf. Oh, there it is. I'm killing him. He's like, I want to go to bed, dude. You are in my house. You are in my home, stopping me from sleeping. All right. Let's stay. Get away from me, dude. Let's stay at an inn if we can find one. Obviously, harder to find at night. I suppose now in this game, I can probably ignite my torches on the world map, but I don't have many torches. Yeah, it's not hard for me to appreciate why these games appealed to me as a kid, especially the cool character creation and stuff, and the tactical battles. From the moment I first saw Shining Force, I loved an RPG tactical battle. Oh, I can't leave town at night because they locked the gate. Oh, can I open the gate myself? Too heavy. So I'm stuck here. There's got to, like, come on. You don't have an inn called, like, the Honorable Inn or something? Brutal. So we're just stuck here for the evening. And yet, I'm not willing to give up. Oh, hey, who's this dude? Out at night? An old wizard who appears to be sleepwalking. Will he speak to me? My name is Sindar. Okay. Sindar, the sleepwalking wizard. He thinks this is his name. Okay. What is your job? Job? Sleep? Do you know that you're asleep? Okay. I'm going to bye. Alright. I'm going to follow this sleepwalking wizard. Because I appear to be stuck here for the evening. I lost him. Unless he's in here. Okay. And then he vanished through here. Okay. Burnt myself, but I found a secret. I keep passing. Will he go somewhere? If I talk to him again, will it trigger him to move more? Is he just going to sleepwalk into this secret area? Okay. Well, at any rate, cool. We found something. Alright, so there are Shadowlords who I assume oppose the principles. There is a Lord Blackthorn. Lord British is nowhere to be found. We're getting a sense of what this game is all about. It is keeping the virtue focused, but bringing back villains. And the villains stay focused on the virtues too, which is neat. Okay, I gotta go down if I'm gonna get anywhere in here. In fact, the old wizard apparently carried on with his sleepwalking. And I lost track of him. There's a long tunnel that leads me just to there. An oaken barrel. Can I open the barrel? No. Can I search the barrel? In the barrel, let us find nothing of note. Fair enough. Okay. Just regular, non-compelling barrels here. But let's look around. Okay. Food is consumed much more slowly, it seems, in Ultima 5 than in Ultima 4. And I'm deeply in favor of that. Because in Ultima 4, man, it's like that, it's been a long time since I watched much South Park. I'm called Grumman. What is thy name? Okay, I like that this guy is not furious with me for being in a secret place. Yeah, it reminded me of that old South Park episode where they get snowed in somewhere and they resort to cannibalism almost immediately, and then right after they're like, "We'll have to eat again soon," and the dude says, "Are you people diabetic? Like, we don't." That's what they eat like in Ultima. Just your food meter is just like draining, and you need like 500 in Ultima 4, like 500 food to go anywhere. What's thy name? I'm James. A pleasure. Okay, what's your job, dude? I walk the walls of Fair Trinsic. All right, fair enough. Wall walker. I mean, technically he's like a guard, I guess. Walls. Cannot help thee. Trinsic. I'm waiting here for a sign. A sign of what? I know not what form it shall take, but when it comes, I shall go in search of my lord. Who's your lord? Lord British, of course. Can you tell me something? Nope. Okay. Well, Lord British is missing. Farewell, and may they blade drink the blood of honor's enemies. Yikes, dude. It's a violent way to put it. Okay, he actually sleeps here in the walls, I guess. Climbing up. We're on the walls. We're outside on the walls of Fair Trinsic. The sun is coming up. Oh, we were on the walls the whole time. Good to know. Burnt. Alright. Well, that's cool. I don't know what to do with that information yet. Stay away from me, dude. I do not want to pay another 30 gold piece tribute right now. Well, while there's daylight, let's get out there. I'm trying to think, where else is there on the mainland? I don't think there's anything south of Trinsic. I'm not emotionally prepared to start searching for the moon gates and trying to figure out how they work yet. So let's see. I think when I started the game, I was actually fairly near to you. So let me see if I can make my way to you, the town of Justice and Druids. And the Druid S, companion of the Avatar, is the only one I'm not familiar with because I played a Druid in Ultima 4. And so you don't get to recruit the character the class that you are. So I know nothing about her except that she's a Druid S. I know she's a woman who is a Druid. So yeah, I started this game in the woods near you. Let me see if I can go find you. Are we more confident about fighting these orcs? We are not. Will they follow me? They certainly will. Look, let's look at this sign. I suppose that 3-letter word might be you, but I'm not willing to go out on that limb yet and add to my runic script database here. These orcs are relentless, but they're stuck in the forest. Wait, it's not going to get me to you to go down here. I do need to go into the... you know what? Let's fight the orcs, team. Okay, this is a much more manageable orc fight. Here we go. Hell yeah. Shamino, after dying in the first fight, just cuts an orc's head off with a single shot. I'm proud of you, buddy. Boom. Killed. Victory. Yeah, that's good stuff. I guess then we just leave? They didn't drop anything. Ooh, I like that if you press a button that you can't move in the direction of, you don't forfeit your turn. That was rough in Ultima 4. There we go. Entering the town of Yu. Whoops, not trying to talk, I'm trying to look. Blackthorn's Law of Justice. Oh, this is going to be some twisted ass thing. Thou shalt confess thy crimes and suffer just punishment, or thou shalt be put to death. Well, how can you put me to death for crimes if I didn't... How do you know? If I didn't confess them, you don't even know what my crimes are, buddy. I have some real strong philosophical differences with this Lord Blackthorn, which I believe I'm supposed to. I think that is Richard Garriott's objective here. Take a different spin on the... Oh, and now the gates are shut in you. Guard offers no response. Guard offers no response. Are there false walls? All the oh, there. The guard moved. Thank goodness. Wanted. James Shamino Iolo, dead or alive. Okay. I might have to violate the virtue of honesty here if someone asks me my name, because they seem to want to kill me. Apothecary. I am not ready to start figuring out the spells yet, so I'm just gonna... The sign of the government. Yeah, I'm certainly not talking to the magistrate here right now. If he wants to kill me... I will say, I really like the kind of the... Ooh, I like that. I like the... Welcome to the Slaughtered Lamb. It's a hideous name for a bar. May I serve thee this evening? Sure. Shall I bring thee a bottle of rum? Art thou hungry for a side of boar? Give me some boar, buddy. 9 gold pieces. For the three of ye, enjoy. Anything else? Nay. Till next time, says Douglas. Ha, kind of an unfortunate ring to that name, if you say it just right. Nope, we're not there yet. The key, the time that I did decipher the runic language of Ultima Online, the key was all about knowing the town names and then finding them, seeing how they were spelled, and working that out. So it's going to be a while, I think, before I'm translating this stuff. I'm also dismayed to see that there's both a droopy F and a droop and then swoop up F. There you go. But obviously we're in a graveyard. I bet. It just seems intuitive to me that at some point I'm going to find out one of these graves conceals something that I want. Some stalks. Oh my goodness. Dude in the stalks. A small battered child, barely breathing and limp in the stalks. My name is Elaine. Job? I fear I have broken a law. This is this is heavy stuff. The writing here is a big step up from Ultima 4, where, as I've said, I like the dialogue of exactly one character who is just a shepherdess who hates sheep. Okay. Law. Oh, whoops. Gotta click back to my window. Whoops. Elaine. Child in stocks. Which is terrible. My interest is, I guess, law. I failed to enforce the 7th law of virtue, which is, I did not turn my father in for donating too little to charity. Chili Champa. What you missed is we all got killed, which turned out to be good because there wasn't a gold penalty for the resurrection. It resurrected us all, so Shamino's back up on his feet. I explored the town of Britain a little bit more. I went south to Trinsic, where a guard extorted 30 gold from me as a tribute to Lord Blackthorn. I learned that in addition to these Shadowlords, which, as we can see from the box art there must be 3 of, and if there's the falsehood one in opposition to the principle of truth, presumably the other 2 oppose love and courage. So then, I thought, based on my memory of the map of Ultima, there is nothing south of Trinsic on the mainland, at least town-wise. So I thought, maybe I'll head north. And so I went north, and I found the town of Yu, which is where I am right now. The gates are closed at night, so I can't leave. I can't find an inn to just pass the night. And then on top of that, there's a sign that says, James, Shamino, and Iolo, wanted, dead or alive. So I'm a little nervous that an NPC here is going to ask my name, and it's going to cause some trouble. Then I found this child in the stocks, and he's locked in the stocks for the crime of not turning his father in for donating too little to charity. His father's name is Mario. Didn't turn in father Mario for insufficient charity. Okay. What about charity? What can you tell me about that? That's just what I'm told. Oh, kid, this is bad. Can I give him anything? No. Bye. Don't go. Oh, kid. Can I help this kid? I'm gonna guess there's no keyboard command for save child from stocks, but just in case, we're gonna take a look here. No, it doesn't look like it. I also don't know how to save this game, because it does not seem to use the same save key as Ultima 4. Oh, it does actually. Q, quit and save. So I'm not going to do that just yet because there's no game over. Oh, another person in the stocks. You see a man torn and tattered from days in the stocks. Won't you help me, please? Well, yes, how? Please unlock the stocks. Okay, it's nighttime. I will try. Alright, bye. Well, if that wilt not help me, at least free my son Elaine. Alright, so this is Mario, also in the stocks. Okay, wait. Yes. Unlock. For Pete's sake, use the key and Jimmy the lock. Okay, yes. Buy Jimmy the lock. I'll do it. My key broke. How many keys do I have here? Because if I'm running out of keys, I do want to help the kid. 4 keys. All right. Dude, hang tight while I help your son. Maybe... Okay. James will try it again. The key broke. All right. I don't want to waste all my keys, but maybe Iolo the Bard will be better at this. Well, I know what he's charged for, because Elaine, the kid that I'm talking to, who is currently locked up, is locked up for... Well, I guess... I feel like if this kid is saying, I got locked up for not turning my dad in, and then there's one other dude, and he's like, please just help my son, even if you're not going to help me, that makes me feel like I can trust these people. All right, Iolo, can you do it? The key broke. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna... Yeah, that is a long con to get yourself locked in the stocks for days in the hopes that you can trick someone to help you. What the bloody hell? I'm not a fan of the fact that we don't just have an inn in every town that's easy to find. I could really, maybe there is an inn and I'm just not seeing it because it's so dark. You know what? I'm looking at my stats again. How many torches do I have? Because I can probably ignite a torch outside. Okay. Obviously, a torch is not going to light everything, but I can see a bit better here. This is a tavern. Sign of a provisioner. Well, what about an inn? Does nobody, Kids, I'm sorry. I really want to help. Or kids. Only one of them's a kid. People sleeping in there. Can I camp in town? That seems unlikely. And also, given that I'm wanted dead or alive in this town, it seems unwise to go to sleep. I'm not going to talk to that guard. What am I doing here? Just gotta kill the night. Just waiting for time to pass. See if I can find anything, but... I'm not sure if... In Ultima 4, one nice thing was all the false walls. There's actually a false wall graphic. So if you look closely enough, you can see the imperfection in the walls. And you just know which walls you can walk right through. Yeah. It makes sense that they lock the town gates at night. And obviously, especially in the 80s, I think, your role-playing game needs to be realistic. Was probably a thing that Richard Garriott felt the pull of. This is not the most exciting thing to just be stuck in town. I believe that's the second moon of Britannia. Oh yeah, we're getting brighter in here. They're gonna let me leave. The gates are open. All right, farewell you. I'm gonna help those kids somehow. I don't know how. Let me look at stats for a second. Okay, there are experience points. It's just not telling me what they are. Also, I have no idea how I'm going to level up when the time comes, because in Ultima 4, you level up by talking to Lord British once you have enough experience. But we don't know where Lord British is. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to head east to Minok. Maybe... Okay. We're being attacked mostly by insects, and it looks like by one ooze. The ooze graphic, or the slime graphic, or whatever it is way cooler this time around. Okay. Is this main gauche something? No. It can only be aimed forward. Ah. Heavily wounded insects. They don't seem to be fleeing. There's a whole thing in Ultima 4 about letting animals flee when they attack you to show justice. But they don't seem to be fleeing. And as long as they're still attacking me, I'm going to fight them. Because I don't like being literally killed by swarms of insects. Alright, Shamino, you focus on the slime, which divides. Okay. This is already a more sophisticated game than Ultima 4. I keep saying Ultima like I'm playing the second one. Yikes. Yeah. Slimes were like, most enemies, there wasn't much that set them apart except do they have ranged attacks and do they have magic? And can they fly, I guess. Fly or swim. But that was pretty much all there was going on to distinguish enemies. Wasting daylight fighting insects. We're heading east. And, you know, don't know exactly where Minoc's going to be. Probably over this bridge. Probably fall. Yeah, these bridges. This feels right. This Minoc is among mountains. Minoc, I don't know. Okay, big mountains block you. Small ones just make you progress slowly. But even slow progress is not as annoying as it. Oh yikes! It's nighttime now. Should ignite a torch, but I'm not finding a lot of gold so far, and I didn't even make note of... Okay, being attacked. This I know how to deal with, especially because, once again, we've got a much more bearable quantity of orcs to deal with. One hit kill, baby. What time am I at here? 12:30. Probably won't go too much longer today. Oh, hell yeah. Some treasure. Open that chest, Shamino. It's trapped with poison. Shamino is poisoned. That's not a good sign. I am going to have to figure out... I have spells. I'm not out of torches yet. I'm just... as I find my way, I don't want to risk running out of torches and not know where to get more. Okay. Shamino is poisoned. Lars, maybe you can help me out with this. Oh, goodness. I'm going to be attacked by a serpent in a moment. But, okay. So I have a bunch of spells. Yeah, ginseng and garlic is cure. But what is cure called now that the spells are in a language? And Nox. Oh, that's what you were saying. When you said and box, I was like, I'm not sure what that one means. Okay, and Nox. I've got plenty of and Nox. That's good. And we'll be able to cast it before we get attacked. So I'm assuming C is still cast spell. I know the avatar has some magic. And Nox on Shamino. Success! Alright. There we go. Successful first foray into magic. And maybe I'll just I'll prepare myself a little and Nox cure. Little grimoire spells over here. Do this as authentic as I can. As little reliance, except for the keyboard hotkeys so far, as I can. I don't know how long I'll be able to stick to that, because like a problem that I have in life generally, It's that I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And I love video games. I want to play a lot of games, so I sometimes lose patience with a game. And I totally want to keep going with this. Want to keep playing the Ultima series. But more snakes. Had to be snakes. Yeah, so if I'm not making progress at a certain point, I'll probably start just needing to give myself a jolt. I should have gone up to get up. James got poisoned in that tiny little fight. Oh well. You can take care of that. Because James will cast and knocks on James. Success. Very good. I ought to hole up and camp though. Let's camp for 8 hours, I guess. Will I set a watch? Now I'm a daredevil. Night passes. Wasted a bit of daylight sleeping there, but we got some hit points back. Okay, here's a big old mountain range. That does not... Oh, that's a rat. Never mind. It looks like a horrifying monster. But it's not so bad, I don't think. Giant rat. Okay, it is a bit it's more horrifying than I reassured myself there. But I bet I can handle giant rats. And I guess if I get killed, it's just a free ride back to Castle British. Poisoned. I'm glad to hear that the recipes for spells, at least for Ann Knox, are the same. Because I certainly mixed up a whole lot of cures, or Ann Knoxes, as they would come to be known, in Ultima 4. Especially because Ultima 5 obviously has more status ailments, because I've experienced classic RPG confusion where you suddenly can't control your character and your character's just making random moves. And as far as I can remember, Ultima 4 just had poisoned and sleep, which operated a lot like what we would call paralysis in a most RPGs that I'm familiar with. In that you don't get woken up from your sleep when someone hits you. I'm gonna cast Ann Knox on myself. I'm gonna cast Ann Knox on my buddy Iolo. You're doing good, pal. Alright. Swat these insects. And then, while there's daylight, get down to the task. To be fair, it probably is actually really hard to kill swarms of insects with a sword. So I can appreciate why we had those misses there. Yeah, don't want to waste daylight here, but I would like to find Minnock. And, okay. Trying to remember more about the map. I have no qualms about pulling up a map. I just didn't already do it. Open that treasure. A sack of gold and some weapons. Okay. A dagger. Short sword. 1 gold. Well, I suppose we shouldn't expect insects to be carrying that much gold on them. Okay. Can I get to Minnock around here? No, I already went around here and it wasn't here. I suspect finding the other companions is going to be a big part of this game. You know, getting the band back together. Although I can tell just looking that it's not going to be... Ultima 4 allowed you to... Ultimately, when you got the 7 companions that were available to you, you had a party of 8. And boy, was the most tedious part of that game maneuvering your party of 8 around the dungeon rooms when you finish a dungeon. trying to get them into the corridors and out the door and all that business. Not a ton of fun. This dude's on my trail, but I'm just trying to. Yeah, I can't get further east here. Whew, there's a lot of them, and yet, you know, as the Avatar, we should show valor and do what we can here. Okay, can we make them come to us? Yes. Orc lightly wounded, barely wounded, killed. There you go. Man-bats? Well, they're orcs, but yes, they do look a lot like the classic Batman adversary, Man-bat. That's a good call there. Okay. Come on. Come on, team. Shamino's getting messed up again. All right, pull back, Shamino. It's all right, buddy. You're still valiant to me, but I'm gonna ask you to cower behind that chest and hopefully not die. We're all in rough shape, but we're down to 2 orcs. All right, all in, team. All hands on deck. Yes. Victory! Alright. So, I'm going to send Iolo on his way. Doesn't take 3 of us to... Poisoned! Come on. But, torches, a ring of keys, sack of gold, a weapon. This is good. It's probably going to turn out to be like carry limits at some point. But for now, there's not. So, James will cast Ann Knox on James. Success. I'm cured. So these mountains pose a real problem for if I'm correct and Minnock is to the east. The sun is setting. We do not want to be attacked again. Let's hole up in camp. Try to camp the night away. And yeah, let's have Iolo on watch. He's got the most health, slightly. Oh, hey, he's just strumming away. He's walking around. Wild. Good work, Iolo. And of course, yeah, okay. Whoever stands guard doesn't heal. 9 hours didn't pass the night. Got to learn a little bit more about the solar cycles here in Britannia, because that's tricky. Okay, sun's coming up. You know what? There's something else I could try to find west of fighting in the woods. More orcs. One of my favorite 30 Rock cutaway gags is Liz Lemon as a nerdy young woman, and it cuts to her and she's a dungeon master and she's plotting a thing and she just goes, and then behind the door, more orcs. That'll really piss her friend off. I don't remember the friend's name in the gag. So I always like to just shout more orcs as a kind of synecdoche for lazy dungeon design that's more intended to troll your players than to let them have a good time, which some DMs are all about. And, you know, respect. Actually, no, I don't respect that much at all. I think you should try to have fun with your friends when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Wait, no, not get. Escape. No. I'm committed to getting, but you open it first. To orc your players. That is kind of a bad joke, but I forgive you. Okay. Wandering through the woods. because to the west of the forest where you is found is the Empath Abbey, I believe. Assuming that Empath Abbey still exists. The Shadowlords haven't razed it to the ground. Here's you. But I'm gonna steer clear of you for now. On account of being wanted, dead or alive. Level 2 Avatar, level 2 Fighter, level 2 Bard. I don't know if we gained those levels, if we started at that level. Some things, I'm gonna have to... I should have downloaded the support documents from GOG.com and read them. Aha! Empath Abbey. Maybe everything's okay here, even though the rest of Britannia is all messed up. I'm skeptical. You see a cheerful man. Yeah, he does seem cheerful. Opening up my spreadsheet. Empath Abbey. Alright. Tell me about yourself, you cheerful bugger. His name is Hardluck. There's a country where the dictator's name is Good Luck. Good Luck Jonathan. Actually, his given name might actually be Jonathan. And they just have the surname given name order. But either way, Good Luck is a charming name, and then you apply it to a dictator, and you're like, well, that's not great. What's your job? You're the Abbey Jester. Tell me what the Abbey. Empath Abbey. Yeah, it told me that when I came in, and also I knew it. Hey, thou ought to be a jester too. Jester. I juggle and sing fine songs. Juggle. Nah, not in the mood. Look, listen to this guy. I can see you actively juggling. You little jerk. Alright, catch you later. May fate smile brightly on you. It's all good so far, pal. Sign of a healer. Don't need a healer, but thank you for being here. I really like the persistent layout of the world. I like that because I was the Avatar, and I've traveled Britannia a lot in Ultima 4, that I can now find places without reference to a map. Although I don't know how to get to Minnock with the slight change in the layout of mountains. A pretty young girl. Ooh. What's your name? Your name is Corey. That's cool. Alright, what's your job, girl? The cook. What castle? A great fortress saving us from the turmoil engulfing Britannia. Okay, things are good here in the Empath Abbey. Maybe want to become famous? Buy followers. Oh, I've got 2 offers to buy followers. So, gentlemen, you're going to have to compete so who can offer me the better rate here on followers? You hook me up, you fight it out, you two. And if somebody makes me an offer that I can't refuse, I will we'll buy some followers, gain some popularity. My interest, well, turmoil. What's the turmoil? Ever since Lord British disappeared, the entire kingdom has gone to ruin. Blackthorn only hinders matters. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Blackthorn claims he is the true ruler. Ruler, can I help you with that? True. Can I help you with that? Okay, you know what? I had already inferred that, but that's still helpful. Thank you, Corey. Corey the cook. Who's this? Small, nimble, deadly-looking man. What's your name, pal? My name is Toshi. Toshi. Alright, what's your job? I'm a student here at the Abbey. A student of what? Of love? Here I learn how love can exist in a world filled with such evil. Yeah, there's a question. LX Judd 12346. If I'm buying followers from you, do my existing followers get a cut of that? Because they were already on it. Like they're helping you juice my stats before I even get started here. Evil. I learn how it can be overcome. Well, tell me. That I show much interest in the principle of love. Yeah. Perhaps thou should study here at the Abbey. What is thy name? I'm James. I would like to join thee on thy quest. Might I join thee? Yeah, sure. I mean, you're not one of the companions of the Avatar, but cool. All right. We got a student of love. What's his class, I wonder? Oh, of course, he's a bard. That makes sense. Because of the virtues, compassion doth derive from love alone. There's a whole instead of a final boss, Ultima 4 has a trivia quiz about how the virtues are derived from the principles. So I'm fresh up on all this stuff. Okay, this is just where people are sleeping. I'm not gonna be a big creep here. No, I'm not trying to push anything, but it's really good to know because there was not a push key in Ultima 4, but P is push. That is useful. Okay. Well, kind of like, it's not, like, the whole thing with Ultima 4 is that it's pretty unique among RPGs because it's not a kill the evil wizard quest. It's a learn to be a good person quest. And then once you're a good enough person and you've gathered the companions of the Avatar and found the stones of virtue, you can go into the Stygian Abyss to read the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom. But before it lets you read it, you got to do this trivia quiz. It was fun. Although I wound up cheating at the end because I got all the virtues. Like, I knew the questions about the virtues and what virtues derive from which principles. Then it asked you 3 questions where the answers are the principles. But the questions are like... One of the questions was, of the principles, this one doth plummet to the depths while reaching the heights. And I'd already used truth. So I was down to love and courage. And I was like, that's some poetry bullshit. You know, and it could easily be either, right? Why couldn't courage plunge to the depths by reaching the heights or whatever? So at that point I was like, well, I'm Googling this because if I fail, I get teleported out of this dungeon that took me an hour and 45 minutes to clear. What's your name, gal? Barbara. Okay. Barbara. We got a kind of a Westeros thing going on here where it's a common name from our world, but spelled slightly differently. What's your job? You're the keeper of the flame of love. Hoo-hoo. Tell me about love. One of the 3 principles, Avatar of Legend. Yeah, I know. As you know, Barbara, I'm the Avatar of Legend. I know the 3 principles. What about the flame? Okay, great. Nice to meet you, Barbara. Tread carefully, Avatar. The fate of our world depends on thee. I'm going to sit down next to this kindly tinker. James, it is thee, is it not? Yeah, I guess not. Is this Julia? Yes, it is thee. At long last, we had thought thy return was beyond hope. Name. My name is Julia. Julia! My girl. What's your job? You're a tinker. I live here at the Abbey, a refuge from the Shadowlords. Alright, fill me in, girl. They hunt all of us who helped thee on the quest. Blackthorn fears us. Tell me about Blackthorn. He feared we would find a way to bring thee back, which is, of course, exactly what we did. James, is it time we took up arms again? It is, Julia. Shall I join with thee now? Thou shalt. At last, we begin anew. Alright, we got Julia on squad. What are you equipped with, Julia? Do you already have... Oh, Julia's a bard now? Julia was a tinker last time I was in Britannia. But I guess she's been hanging out at the Empath Abbey. She has a spear, a chain coif, leather. I assume just the word leather means leather armor. I was hoping she might have a crossbow already, because a little bit of ranged action here couldn't hurt. A tall, caring man. Alright. What's your name, pal? Lord Michael. So, obviously, this dude rules in Empath Abbey. Lord of this province. I'm Lord of this castle. The castle. Here in Empath Abbey, we protect the principle of love from the evils that would corrupt it. Corrupt. Since the disappearance of Lord British, Evil has reared its foul head, and now the 3 castles of virtue stand alone. That's really helpful to know. Am I just amassing a band? It does seem like that. Everyone wants to be a bard. Now, we got 3 bards, 1 avatar, and a ranger. So yeah. So Shamino, when we make camp, that must be very frustrating for Shamino. He's like pitching tents for everybody, and the rest of them are all just wailing on their mandolins. Since the disappearance of Lord British, evil has reared its foul head, and now the 3 castles of virtue stand alone. Castles. He's not going to tell me what the other ones. Well, virtue. The Shadowlords dare not desecrate this holy place. Not even the Shadowlord of Hate. Yeah, there it is. The principle of love opposed by the Shadowlord of Hate. So I guess there's the Shadowlord of Cowardice. This is the only castle on the mainland. So I'm going to either need a ship or the moon gates or a hot air balloon. I need something if I'm going to go. Okay, hate. Seek out the demon who lives in the great eastern desert. He knows much of the Lord of Hatred. That, Lord Michael, is extremely helpful info. Seek out the demon who lives in the great eastern desert. Now, here's the problem. Ask about Lord of Hatred. Now, a tricky thing here is that with our graphical upgrades in Ultima 5, obviously there's a new terrain type, desert. I know the eastern desert must be in the east, but I don't know anything more than that because there were no deserts in Ultima 4. The Shadowlords must have created the deserts. Desert. Can it help thee? East? Can it help thee? Well, Lord Michael, you've been very helpful. Thank you. Thank you, my lord. Push at the door. It won't budge. Gotta turn the handle. It turns out it's a pull door. How about that? Okay. Really good to know that things are good in the castles. That's extremely useful information. And I know I gotta find an eastern desert where a demon is going to help. So that's interesting. Dost thou wish to leave? I dost. Okay. So what's left for me to do today? So I want to wrap up pretty soon. I have other things to do, including working on the banner for the 58 Dream Street YouTube page. I'm not going into You at Night again like a fool who gets stuck. Yeah, we don't want to launch a YouTube page without a banner. So I've been working on some pixel art. You can see the Pixel James face right up there. Maybe the color of my glasses don't come through as much on the screen, but suffice to say, that is the color of my glasses. It's pretty accurate. I'm really proud of that particular piece of pixel art. It's been progressively harder to do the rest of the crew. Thank you, Chili Champa. That means a lot to me because you are a talented artist. My friend Jill, who is, I'm not going to say more talented or anything like that, but she's got an animation degree and has worked on like Teen Titans and stuff. So here's a confusing. If my whole team is going to be friggin' bards, they don't have unique sprites, so that's tough. These are spitting snakes. They haven't poisoned me yet. We've almost made it to you. Oh, and then of course I get there and venomous bite. It's poison when you just ingest it. It's venom when they stick it to you. So technically, can a spear attack 2 spaces? That's good to know. So yeah, the rest of the Dream Street crew has been progressively harder to draw. So Robert was a little bit easier. There's a whole body on this sprite, and so step 1 with Robert was to make him on a slightly expanded scale. Robert's a big jack dude. You know, he's a solid $190, $195 maybe. And he has a gigantic head. So I made his head bigger too. Even though I myself, as Chili Champa knows, have a large head. The reason I know I have a large head, in fact, is because Chili Champa took a costume studies course in her undergrad, learned about the standard size that costume people just make hats to, and then measured my head and found out it was larger than that. And yet, nonetheless, Robert's head makes my head look kind of normal. Okay. How many mixtures of Anox? Oh, I've still got 4. I can get through this. Except we're going to get attacked. Oh, I've never forgotten a single thing. Which, that's probably not true. It's probably an exaggeration, but I do have an incredible memory. For better and for worse. Use it on Shamino. We can cure one more person before we fight the orcs. And Nox. Iolo. And now we're at war. With a lot of orcs. But we are prepared. In the sense that there's more of us. Not in the sense that we're in like good, particularly good shape right now. Will Shamino get killed again? Quite possibly. Although I did find some healers, so I'll be able to deal with it. Maybe. Yeah, that you're also a psych major, so you know that memory is more complicated than just saying, I remember that or I forgot that. There are different types of memory. Julia armed with bare hands. Did her goddamn spear break? And I wasn't looking? Well, that sucks. Because I was pretty happy about having any range at all on my weapons. I guess Julia is just gonna hang back. Well, hold on. No, Julia will ready a weapon. A dagger. Wait, what else do I have? Can you just use arrows? You probably need a bow for that. Well, ready a dagger. What? Yeah, come on. Ready it. Yes. Okay. Then what do I do? How do I finish readying a weapon? Escape. Done. Okay. That's fairly simple. Iolo is getting killed here. Flee, Iolo. Toshi will take up the fight. Ah, Toshi is getting killed. We're in trouble here. We got to get some kills on these orcs, team. Shamino's getting killed. He's surrounded by orcs. There's a kill. I suppose, like, fleeing is more acceptable now. Shamino's about to die. Sorry, buddy. Wait. Ah, it's too late. I already committed to attacking. Alright, Iolo. Cast a spell. Okay. What are the spell names? Anne Locks? Anne Lore? Is that a spell? Not a spell. The heal spell would be really useful now. Don't know what it is, though. So, I guess the best healing is just killing people before they hurt you. So that's what we'll try to do. Shimino's hanging in there, but this might be it. Nope. Oh, now Toshi's in a lot of trouble. Alright. Toshi, you're new to the team. I don't want your first experience as a companion of the Avatar being murdered. Ha! Yes. Oh, you know what? Toshi's gonna die as soon as we exit this battle. Unless I waste a turn. You know what? We can deal with this. Okay. Julia attacks. Barely wounds the orc. I missed. Shamino is just going to cower here. He doesn't have magic anymore. Okay, you cast and Nox on Tashi. So if we get out of this alive, Tashi doesn't immediately just drop dead. Yes. Okay. We're gonna win this thing. As Agent Harris famously exclaims in a late episode of The Sopranos, which I'm rewatching right now. We did it, team. Okay. Opening the treasures. I didn't even look at... Okay, acid. Whew, I'm glad that that it wasn't Tashi opening that one. It'd be silly to have gone to all that work to try to keep Tashi alive and then he gets melted by a treasure. Okay, we got a dagger. We got a sling. A ranged weapon. Good heavens, that's helpful. Quarrels. Okay, so we're getting specific with the ammunition here. Got a small shield. Got a torch, 19 gold, 2 food, a key, torches, and food. Okay, that's a good haul. Yep. Leave the field of battle. Okay, we got to hole up in camp, team. For the whole friggin' night. 9 hours. And I, the valiant Avatar, will stand watch. Alright. Get it done. Get it done. The sun is rising. In fact, we're wasting daylight. Oh my goodness. Alright. Just start running. Probably going to get trapped by rivers here. Yep. Ah. Okay. And we're not actually in good condition at all. We should be fleeing from these orcs, but my every instinct in Ultima is not to flee, because you're really not supposed to in Ultima 4. Both hands must be free. Well, oh, this is Tashi. What are you equipped with, buddy? I don't know how to unequip items. I guess in battle is not the time to be figuring out how to use a sling. Because we're doing things a little bit differently in Ultima 5, despite being, in many ways, a very similar game. In probably nothing in this game, and yet, like I said, I feel the need to be valiant. I mean, that's my main virtue. But in Ultima 4, you lost Valor points if you fled, unless you were literally on the point of death. And even then, every companion but the Avatar had to flee first, or you would lose Valor. I screwed up late in the game because I was just in a rush. There was a puzzle that involved... Oh, I can attack diagonally. I'm going to do that just for novelty. Shamino is on the cusp of being killed again. But at least he got a critical hit on that orc. Yeah, so there's a time sensitive, or like moon cycle sensitive puzzle. And I was trying to get to the location that I needed to be while the moon was in the right position. It was almost there, and I was crossing a bridge. And I was mashing the buttons so quickly and like semi paying attention that I got attacked by trolls on the bridge, which often happens in Ultima 4. And I didn't realize... Oh, even with a dagger, Julia can attack at range. That's weird. Good to know. victory and all kinds of treasure. So, yeah, so I accidentally fled from a battle late in the game when I had already achieved avatarhood in all the virtues and did not realize, yeah, maybe they are throwing daggers, except they only had a range of... Actually, I didn't even test it. Maybe it's just the case that daggers have a even greater than 2 range. Well, team, we survived another battle. Would we survive even more battles? I'm skeptical, so I'm running. These giant rats are giving chase. I've lost track of I'm obviously in the woods somewhere around you. Oh, in fact, there's the very first sign we ever saw in the game. I am fleeing to Britain, which should be over here somewhere. Yep. Very good. Okay. Let me just review my stats here. Actually, I'm going to go back to my keyboard hotkey guide. Because, like... Okay. Ah, yes. Because... Well, it's not relevant yet, but the look at a magic gem button has changed because P is pushed now, so you don't peer at a gem. Prior to this one, Lars, I've played all the way through Ultima 4. I played Ultima Online a very little bit when it came out, but had very frustrating experiences with it because of poor tech, and also just the fact that, you know, you step outside of a town and get immediately killed by other players who then take your gold. Was my experience with Ultima Online. And then I also recently completed Ultima Underworld. That was the start of my classic PC journey this year, a couple months ago now. And then I've played Ultima 6. Yeah, I've touched on most... I've started all of 1 through 6 at different times, but usually bounced off them. I just wasn't... Among other things, I had undiagnosed ADHD. Who knew? Chili Champa's thinking, yes, that seems obvious. Because she knows me in real life. So, yeah. So this... Ultima 4 was my first main series Ultima that I played all the way through. And I loved it. And I think what I'm planning to do currently, possibly not in one big marathon, because like I said, I like to play all kinds of different games. And there's going to be major JRPG releases, major Nintendo releases. I also have a full-time job. And also, yesterday got recruited to write a damn textbook. And they want a draft at the end of the summer. So, yeah. So I don't know if I'll do them all in order, but my current plan is to do 4 through 7, including they were free on Good Old Games, the Ultima 6 spin-offs, the Worlds of Ultima, Savage Times, and the Martian Dreams. So yeah, that's my general thought. Is I'm gonna plug around with all of those and probably do them here on the internet for the people to see. Yeah. I'm excited because these games have fascinated me since I was young, but I was never able to not get frustrated. Partially because it's weird because I'm old enough that my earliest RPGs were Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior. Probably skipping 8 and 9, we'll see. The reputation of those games is not great, but I might just be caught up in the story by then. I might just want to see the Avatar saga to the end. So I think we'll see. So, yeah, Dragon Warrior in particular, obviously, is hugely influenced by both Ultima and Wizardry. And it is not a game that gives you much guidance. And I beat Dragon Warrior when I was a kid. But whenever I tried these PC RPGs, I guess by the time I had access to them, we were on to, the narrative Final Fantasies of the Super Nintendo era. And so I found this open worldness, How do I get started? I don't even know. Nobody's telling me. There's no cutscenes. There's no whatever. So I was always bouncing off them. And now I'm finally, checking that box off. So I'm excited about this. I really enjoyed Ultima 4. And all I knew about this was that there was going to be some sort of dictatorship and Lord British was missing. And I thought, that sounds cool. And I'm really enjoying my early foray here. I will figure out how equipping stuff works off. Like, I know how to ready the weapon. I don't know how to unready gear. Because I wanted to give Toshi the thing there. Anyways, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to stay at the inn. Heir of Cowardice. Okay, Shadowlord of Cowardice is in town. I got to watch out for him because he will just kill me. There's an inn here, right? I gotta be careful, though. Yeah. Alright, we're fleeing. Yeah, I've heard... I know Richard Garriott himself, Lord British himself, has said that this one and Ultima 4 and 7 are his two favorites. But I also know that pretty much the only Ultima games that weren't critically acclaimed are 8 and 9. So I have I have high hopes for this game, and I'm really enamored of it so far. Even if I am going to have to download the ancillary materials, look at the official map to remind myself where the moon gates are. Yeah, I know. The only thing I know about 8 is that it tries to add platforming elements, which I'm super skeptical of. But ultimately, I'll probably end up checking it out. But I also I really want to check out what I would call the big 4 PC RPG series over the next probably couple of years. Ultima being the first one, because that's the one that I already had the most attachment to. But Bard's Tale, your Wizardry, and Might and Magic. I'm looking forward to digging into all of those in the fullness of time. Now that I spent a whole lot of money on a high-powered gaming PC, I can finally check out all these classic DOS RPGs. All right, they're not going to let me into town to go to the inn at night, so let's camp again. Let's camp for 8 hours. Yeah, let's put Julia on watch. Okay, that's good to know. Ultima Underworld had some platforming in it. First-person platforming in a game that where the engine doesn't quite know what to do if you bump against a wall at an angle. Wasn't great. Wasn't a great experience, but it was fun. And I got myself in a tight spot where in Ultima Underworld where I was trapped in an area because I foolishly did not save, or I did save, but I didn't realize how soon I was trapped in that area. So I wound up with all of my saves being beyond the barrier. Yeah, and the bugginess might not even be as much of an issue now, right? Just because I assume some of it got patched at some point. Maybe DOSBox will make it stable. Is it even going to be probably Windows based? Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking that stuff out. So, yeah, in Ultima Underworld, I got trapped in that spot with all the fire elementals on the prison floor, and I did not have enough healing items, and I had no magic because I didn't understand the leveling system. So I thought because I didn't start as a magic user, I could never gain. Ooh, Calm Winds. I'm a fan of that. My least favorite part of Ultima 4 was wind, period, slowing down my ship, and then specifically the fact that there's always wind. So the fact that there can be calm winds, I'm glad to see that. I'm not sure how I'm going to get a ship in this game. In Ultima 4, you just got to stand by the seashore and hope that some pirates attack you so you can kill them and take their ship. Okay. Ah, damn it! I stepped into the poison swamp like a fool. I'm gonna need to mix, I think. But let me look. What is the state of my mixtures? I've got 1 and Nox. Okay, reagents. I have some ginseng and garlic. Okay. Yikes. That was foolish. Okay, mix for Ann Nox using ginseng and garlic. Mix. How much? Yes! That's a quality of life improvement. You got to do the whole mixing process for each individual spell every time. I would like 3, please. Mixing, done. Cast, James and Nox. Enter on James. I should have done Iolo first. He's in worse shape. Cast, James and Nox on Iolo. Cast, James and Nox on our new buddy Toshi. Not an established avatar companion. Good to know the swamps are still poisonous. I suspected they were and did not mean to bumble into that. Okay. I'm about to wrap up here. I'm gonna get to Trinsic and maybe, it couldn't hurt to come in here and, okay, what's around? This is a healer. Don't really need a healer as much as I need an inn. Armory. Is there not an inn intrinsic? Right, I already went through this. I already agonized about this. There's not an inn intrinsic, or if there is, I can't find it. You know what? That's fine. We're just gonna leave. Yeah, rest outside. Okay, dost thou pay 50 gold? Oh, these guards. And yet, I don't want any trouble yet. Take your damn tribute. Oh, okay. We're going to find Lord British eventually. That's good. I mean, I figured he'd show up eventually because I know he remains a character. Cool. Well, that's all. Yeah, he's like living off the land in hiding. Like a noble ruler. Okay. You know what? I think this is my stopping point for the day. Been a good 2.5 hour, maybe a little less than that. 2 hour and 20 minute. Dipping my toes into Ultima 5, which is so far everything I hoped it would be. In that it's familiar enough. I know that Ultima 6 is going to go, VGA or EGA or something with the graphics and like top-down perspective, all the companions, and I'm looking forward to that because, like I said, that game was my first taste of Ultima that got me really fascinated as a kid. Thanks for tuning in, Lars. It was a real pleasure having you here. Thanks for the help. You take care as well. I'm probably not gonna have a schedule with Ultima 5, but I'm gonna just be on here playing it whenever I play it. Like whenever I play this game, I will do it live, and we'll do the whole Let's Play. So if you come back, smash that follow button. It was a pleasure chatting to you both. Quit and save. Save game, yes. Saving done. But of course, I actually just have to close the DOSBox window because there's no real DOS for me to quit to. So I'll do that on my own time. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure, both of you. I'm glad you tuned in. I did not. There was always a chance of getting Chili Champa, who is, like I said, a person I know in real life, to tune in. But I had no confidence that this would appeal to anybody else in the world, Lars. So it was a pleasure to have you here, and I hope to see you again. All right, both of you, take care. Peace. Free Britney, bitch.